Welcome to Mahjong and Mics, where tiles click, the stories flow, and strategy meets laughter.
I'm Tina.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're here to bring you all things Mahjong. Whether you're a seasoned player or just shuffling in for the first time, we've got you covered.
So grab your tiles, pour yourself some tea,
or something a little stronger,
and let's get started.
Okay, everybody. Welcome. We want to let you know that as we start today's Mahjong Moments, you're going to hear a third voice chime in. We have a special guest today.
We have our first guest. I feel like we've made it, and she is a superstar.
Well, she is.
Yeah, so we've got Stacey with us, and she's one of my best friends, and she's good friends with Tina.
And she's going to have so much to say about how Mahjong is more than just a game.
Yeah, this is a really special episode.
It is. I can't wait. But let's start.
Our Mahjong Moments.
Mahjong Moments.
Yes.
And Stacey is our guest. We're going to let you start. We want to know, tell us about your recent Mahjong moments.
Well, so I was out of town for a month and didn't get to play my favorite game. And to be honest, I totally missed it. I think it's a huge stress reduction for me when I play.
It is.
And I came back on Monday and I went and played with my group. And I claimed I hadn't played in a month. I didn't know the card. And I won 3 games, all 3 games.
This is so Stacey.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Also, I think that just says how good she is.
She's
that
very
she cannot
good.
play for a month and then come back and dominate.
It was great, but it did reinforce to me how important it is to have jokers and blanks, because if you don't have those, I still believe you cannot win. But that's my personal opinion.
They're such good
It's
things.
really hard to win without a joker.
It's so weird. So I want to say that, so your trip, I haven't heard, Stacey just got back, but you bought a beautiful tile set to travel with. So did you break it out at all?
We did. We broke it out. And funny story, we had a man, an older gentleman, probably in his 80s, come up and he goes, what are you doing? And I said, well, these are little tiles that we play something called Mahjong. And he goes, is it like dominoes? And I said, well, not really. He said, can I sit there with you while y'all play?
Oh, that's fun.
So he sat and watched us play, and I said, do you want to join in? And he said, no, I think I'm good just watching. So I got to play with my daughter and her friend Hannah, and that was pretty special. And but yeah, it's great taking that small set because it fits in your suitcase very nicely. You don't have to take the great big tiles and
it's
racks
not as heavy.
and all that. Not at all. It's super duper small. You do have to probably have glasses and be able to see really well.
I was going to say, I want to see them in
tiny.
person before I invest.
Well, we've talked about Stacey is, listeners, she's my friend I went on the couples trip with, and she had the awesome blow up.
Yes.
We've discussed
for our
that.
eyes. Yeah.
The massive 2025 card.
It was so much fun.
Yes,
We're gonna
very
have to
important
post
to
that.
see. Very important to
Yes,
see.
it
Yeah,
is.
definitely.
Okay, what about yours? Do you want me to go
Well,
first?
I mean, after
go.
Stacey's 3 wins, mine is
I
so
know.
lame. I mean, we played with our coworkers yesterday. I did get the first win. I felt real good about
she
that.
did. She came out
But then
strong.
you have big news.
I do, and I would like a kudos, but
Yeah.
I got my first, what have we been playing, a year and a half? I got my first concealed, and it was just I think Mr. Concealed that we play with
we
pushed
were
me to try it
playing.
because I was sick of him bragging.
Well, he was at the table, which was awesome because
that-
you got the concealed.
I did get the concealed, so that was huge. I don't think I'll ever try for it again because we've talked about how I like to win more than challenge myself. And then, this was interesting. So the hand you won. Did you win 2 yesterday? Because the one that me and Mr. Concealed won, we were going for the exact same hand.
Oh, that was our
same
final game.
dragons. Yeah. So I think our trying to get, we went for soap in the red.
Maybe I did win twice.
I
You're
think
right.
you did.
Okay. I'm
Ooh.
feeling better about
Kudos,
myself now.
kudos.
Patting
Yeah.
myself on the back.
So I think we were totally blocking each other because when we showed our hands, I was like,
identical hand. You were fighting over dragons.
yeah, it was that. In the Winds and Dragons, I do like it.
It's my favorite.
Is it 3 flowers
it's
or
the
2?
second one down.
Yeah.
It's 2 flowers, and then the 3 consecutive singles, and then a bunch of dragons.
Tons of crayons.
We've said it so many times now on the podcast. Everyone's going to steal that
Yeah,
idea.
I know.
It's a good one.
Well, I stole it from you.
Well,
Yeah,
great.
and then I started
I
winning.
got to find a new one.
I know. Okay.
Well, maybe we get into today's stuff, and before we kind of start asking our guests some questions, let's maybe just sort of start to introduce to our listeners, when we say Mahjong is more than a game, what do we talking about here?
Yep.
Because I know like the memory, the strategy, the pattern recognition, all of that stuff is super good for our brains, and that there's research that shows even 12 weeks of playing Mahjong can kind of improve that cognitive impairment. And that's super important for me because dementia and Alzheimer's is in my family.
Yeah, I agree too. So it's in my family as well. My mom had Alzheimer's, and so I think, well, it's probably in every family now.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think, and I don't know the reason, like we were kind of talking about, is it that we're living long? I don't know the reason or we just know more about it, and I think Stacey can speak to that in a minute, but the social interaction too. So I've noticed elderly family, my mom, they just kind of isolate themselves, and so I feel like once, people retire or their kids, anyway, I just
It's a
think
good way to connect.
Yeah, the social interaction's huge for older people, but for me too. I mean, we've talked about the empty nesting, and I like making sure that I am still.
Well, even at the empty nesting, we've talked about this. Like when you have children at home still, which I do, a teenage daughter and a 6-year-old son, like. This is the first time in 23 years I feel like I have a hobby that's mine.
Yes.
And it's a great way for me to connect with friends over something besides soccer.
Right.
It's awesome.
Right.
It's awesome. I mean, what about you, Stacey? Like more than a game, what do you think about?
Well, no, I 100% agree. I remember when I was young, and I went to go visit my granny in McAllen, Texas, and I was thinking about this the other day, and she and her little 80-year-old friends all would gather around this table and play something with tiles, and I would go, what are you doing? And I would go to McAllen every summer for like a month, and every Friday my granny would get with her friends and play Mahjong. And so, here many, many years later, I'm playing that same game. My mom actually has my granny's set of tiles that she played with, which is amazing.
That's
but,
cool.
So this has been around for so long, and I do think that when I used to think Mahjong, I thought older ladies sit around and play. And I'm so glad that it has come to this age and younger people, because I think the life, or I guess the long-term effects in your life from it will just be so beneficial, especially for your brain, socialization, and so many other things. So
Perfectly said. Okay, so we would like you to share your family's journey with Alzheimer's, because it's affecting your entire family.
It most definitely is, and my sister, actually, she's 53 now, and she got diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's a couple of years ago. And when she first got diagnosed, it was really difficult for our family because, like I said, with what I thought of Mahjong, I actually thought that same thing with Alzheimer's, that Alzheimer's was really a disease that only affects elderly people.
That's a good point.
And so when my sister was diagnosed, for me, actually, at the first walk we did, Caitlin and I and my sister were interviewed, and my point was I didn't know this disease affected young people, and still to this day, I find it. I mean, it's really sad when you think about the number of young people, and I'm on a Facebook page with people who have a loved one that's diagnosed with early onset, and there are quite a few people in this world that are taking care of people with that. But all it really did for me was to reiterate how important it is to take care of your brain from a very early age. And after my sister got diagnosed, shortly after, my mom started to show signs of it. And so currently right now we're dealing with 2 people actually in my immediate family that have it. And so, very extreme, 181, 153, but it's a horrible disease. And for me personally, I mean, it's kind of sad because even if I forget a name of something, immediately what goes to my brain is, oh my goodness, I have this horrible disease, which is, at our age, a lot of times that might be hormonal, or that might just, as we get older, our brain is going to have those hiccups. But it's a pretty sad and very scary, tiring, stressful life to live with someone that has that. And
It's
so
ever present.
Yeah, it is ever present, definitely. So
So I'm assuming, especially because of your family struggles right now, like that's kind of how you got involved with Alzheimer's awareness. Like, how did you step in and what did that look like?
So when my sister got diagnosed, she lived in Denver, and as we all know, there's currently no cure for Alzheimer's. And so I woke up. This is kind of a crazy story. I woke up in July, and one morning in July, and I said, I've got to do something for my sister. And so I just happened to be on Facebook, and I saw something about the Alzheimer's walk, and I said, I can do that. And so I got on, kind of looked up about it, and then I realized it was in September. So it was 2 months away, mid-September. And I was actually going to be out of town for 3 weeks of those 2 months. And so I thought, what are we going to do? And so, but thankful for my husband and my daughter, we just started reaching out to all these people. And my dream was, because my sister felt so alone after she had been diagnosed, was to have her come to that walk and see all these people there with these shirts that said Ashley's Allies on them.
That.
And that then she would recognize how loved she was. And so I thought, if we can have 10, 20 people there, maybe even 30, that would be great. So that day we had over 65 people there and raised $75,000 for this cause.
Amazing.
And it was really, really amazing. And still to this day, Ashley talks about the walk. We just did our second walk last year, and we raised $85,000, and we did that. And it was interesting because Ashley and I spoke at both, and so people could see the change in her. If you were at both, you could see. But for me, it's a way of giving back. But I think it's also a way for me personally to deal with what is going on and have a little bit control over that, because with that disease, you have no control over it.
Yeah.
And so that's giving me one way. So that's probably how I really became involved with Alzheimer's awareness.
And it's so the first year I participated, but I didn't get to walk the first year. And this year I did get to walk, and it's a great event, but it's emotional.
It is very
so when
emotional.
I can hardly
I know.
I know it makes me sad, but yeah.
That when that lady got up
Yeah.
and she talked, and they basically, for everybody that that has it, there's 4 flowers. So there's a flower garden, and so there's one flower if you're living with Alzheimer's. Then there's one flower if you're a caregiver. There's one if you are part of the advocacy, and then there's one if you know someone,
That's
then
neat.
Yeah,
it is neat. And
It's a
so
neat
everybody, they ask you to hold up your flowers. So you look out there, and there's all their flowers, and then they have one, and they had the kid that came up, and there's one kid, and he holds the white flower, and it's to find the cure.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, hopefully someday we'll all be holding these white flowers. And so it's a very,
It is
very
emotional.
moving. And then when you see everyone walking down the street, it's so we'll definitely be doing that again this year. But it's just, when you see all the people that are touched and affected by it, people have their shirts on and the different teams that are there. And since that, I've spoken at some other different things that have added, just because of that, and because I have become a huge advocate for this, it's made it kind of, I would say, maybe my purpose right now in my calling.
Yeah.
I love
And you're
that.
so good at it.
Which thank you. It does, because we all like to have a purpose in life. I remember when I stopped teaching school that I was like, what's my purpose? And, what am I going to do? And then it's amazing how all of a sudden then this kind of fell into my lap. And so I'm trying to use a really sad situation or a tough situation and trying to bring a positive spin to it. It's
you
basically
are.
what I'm trying to do.
Totally.
So
Stacey, tell about, because you're talking about how it's become like your calling. So I do want to know, can the listeners know about you got invited to go to the convention. Like, tell about the convention you went to in Atlanta, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I went to a convention in Atlanta, and I actually took my daughter, and it was basically for caregivers, and it was for people that were either involved in the walk. There's actually a Mahjong Day too. That's another thing that Alzheimer's does.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of communities will have a day of Mahjong, and they'll raise money. There's a bike-a-thon, and there's lots of different ways that people raise money, and so that was part of what the convention was about. But when you walked in there, they had signs hanging everywhere that showed like amazing. So out of 600 plus walks, Tulsa's walk rate was in the top 25. They were the 16th
Oh, wow.
ranked
That
walk.
is
And that's amazing for a city the size of Tulsa.
It is.
It's pretty amazing. And then overall for teams, Ashley's Allies was actually ranked 25th, which is amazing
That
too.
is amazing.
Out of like all over the United States. That was pretty
And
amazing
your
too.
second year in.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It is
So it was
incredible.
pretty incredible. So so that convention was great. It was kind of a thank you. We had dinner, things like that, and that's one cool thing I will add is that next week or 2 weeks from now, my sister is actually going to Washington D.C. to advocate for Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow. Are you going with her?
I'm not going with
Okay.
her just because I've been out of town so much, and her husband's going to go with
Oh,
her.
good.
But there is a lot of advocacy going, and I think it is so cool that Mahjong's name is kind of stamped on or coincides with Alzheimer's. I think that's pretty amazing because
it
it's
is.
putting Mahjong out there, but it's also putting out the importance of working and using your brain.
I love that so much. So for our listeners that want to know like how they can get involved or how they can make this connection between Mahjong and Alzheimer's, or is there is there a walk for Alzheimer's in like most major cities? Like how can they get involved? What can they do?
So yes, there is. Most major cities have a walk, especially in Oklahoma. I don't know how many walks there are, but I know like Oklahoma City, Norman, Tulsa, a lot of those areas, but really all over the world. And all you really have to do is go, I shouldn't say the world, all over the United States. All you really have to do is go into the Alzheimer's Association and type in walk. One other way, especially with Mahjong, so when you purchase the Mahjong card, if it's $20, what usually happens is that $5 of that goes towards the Alzheimer's Association.
I love that.
And so I do believe that certain places can say where they want the money to go to. However, most organizations or most people that sell it, the $5 goes to the Alzheimer's Association. So if you're
great to
playing and you're purchasing a card through the Alzheimer's Association or through Mahjong Association, then you are definitely helping. So
I love that. That's
definitely.
good. Okay,
So do we
well,
want to pivot?
Yeah.
We kind of want to hear, like, we've told the listeners how we started and Stacey's and I's stories together, but tell them how you got started in the Mahjong addiction.
So this is kind of a crazy story. I decided to go to a Mahjong workshop literally the week before my son got married. And it was on a Saturday. My son, I know, my son was getting married the next Saturday. And it wasn't like I was helping with the wedding, like we were doing the wedding. And so as I'm sitting there learning this game, I'm thinking, what am I doing here? I have so much to do. But I had been wanting to play and learn this game for so long. And so I went, with my good friend Michelle. Kind of went with my besties, Michelle and Tristy, and it was really...
Did we do the Bloody Marys? I feel like we took down the
we
Bloody
did. We
Marys.
took down the Bloody Marys.
it's one of your favorites. Or
Yes.
maybe your very favorite.
It is my very favorite. So, we both are little Bloody Mary people. And so, anyway, so I went to that, and I will admit, when I first sat there, I was like, oh, this might be a little over my head, but I did like it. I will say, initially, I don't know if it was the game itself that I fell in love with as much as meeting new people is what I really fell in love with.
Yeah.
And I went and I felt like I was meeting so many new people and sitting with different people and making new friends. And to me, that was just... that made my heart super happy because that's one thing I do enjoy. Y'all spoke initially about being empty nesters. And for me, and with everything that I'm going through in my family, I've started to realize that your tribe, the people you live with and the people you do life with, are so freaking important. And so,
and I kind of think, Stacey, I think you're like a collector of friends. Like when I think of you, that is what I think. Like she doesn't need to.
She's better. I mean, well, Stacey's in my tribe, but she's also good. Like sometimes I get stuck in like I want to sit with Stacey and like I don't. So she's much better. She's like, I'll go meet the new people. Yeah, she's so good at it, and then she makes everyone feel comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. So she is definitely a social butterfly.
Okay, so in the middle of this social butterflyness, I gotta know. I need to know, how competitive are you, or are you competitive?
Oh, let's talk about this, Stacey.
So, now there might be someone in the room that begs to differ with me on my opinion. I like to say I'm not competitive. However, I do like to win.
Oh, okay.
But I think I like to say I'm not competitive, so then when I lose, I don't feel as bad. But I don't know. But I am. Okay.
Do you think it depends on your group too?
100%.
If she's playing with, she's so kind. But I think when we're playing with our friends that we've played forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the funny story is, so Stacey was in on the, we did a vacation, like a couples retreat, but really it was just so we could play Mahjong.
Yes.
And so, anyway, we're there, we're having cocktails, we're having a great time, and somehow she said, okay, I'll admit it, I'm competitive. And me and Lisa were like, really?
We're so surprised. We had no idea.
I didn't know. No, it's so funny. Okay, so we want to know, and I know you've been out, but do you have a favorite hand yet on the new card? Is there one? Do you have a go-to? But Stacey's really good at trying all the things. She does like to challenge her, but is there one that you like?
Well, I've kind of, there's probably a couple sections that I like. Can I tell you sections?
Yeah. Where do you like to dive into?
So I really kind of like the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 section. Which is weird because I didn't really like that much the last card.
They have different hands this time.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. The other section I like a lot is the winds and the dragons. And one of the girls I played with, I was really upset because on the old card, my go-to hand was any like numbers with the news.
Everybody loved that one.
It was so good.
I missed it.
So perfect. Well, she pointed out to me actually on Monday that if you look over on the winds and dragons and you do the north, north, south, south, and then the like numbers there and the evens, that's a little bit similar, but it's actually easier almost to get.
Oh, because you don't have all the singles.
Yes. And so she pointed that out to me, which I thought was very, very true. So since she has kind of been, even online when I've been playing, I've been kind of looking at those a little bit too.
Well, we're so glad you shared your story, because it's so personal.
This is a really special episode. So
it is. Our first guest and such an important topic. So Stacey gets the honor of closing us out.
I'm so excited, and I don't know if I'll do it quite as well as
y'all
will.
I think it's going to be perfect.
I'll definitely try. Okay, here we go. May your jokers be plentiful and your Charleston be kind. Happy Mahjong!